Hold on. So fucking empty. These are all fucking empty, dude. That's not what I want. Oh, goodies. Oh, can't lose that. Shit. This is crazy. Oh, any good stuff in here? Hello? What the fuck am I doing, bro? With my life right now? Hold on. I'll take this one. This one too. Don't care. Hold on. If you're a VJK, like roll it. Sorry for the minor inconvenience. I don't even know what today it is. I don't know why I'm recording this right now. But this is partly due to like my therapist saying about writing stuff down, but I can't. I can't. I can't. I don't even know where to begin. Like, I'm. I am John Romero, John Von Romero, and I am a sex addict, alcoholic, and I abuse prescription drugs. And it's been a while since I felt this way, really. I mean, how I got here. And really, the starting years back when Katie and I first met, I just remember being happy. You know, my biggest fear was just getting to her and flying to her and finally meeting with her and feeling like everything was just falling into place. And it was perfect. And you know, a couple years later, I don't know, I don't remember why. I have bad memory because of my medication, but I just started looking for friendship online, platonic friendship online, and it was on Omegle. I remember where I met Clarissa, and off the bat, you know, told her it's not. Well, I catfished her, and it wasn't supposed to last more than a night, and for some reason we persisted, and obviously I felt guilt for even entertaining another girl, and I don't remember why, but I just did it, to be honest. And I felt this instant attraction that I just couldn't comprehend. It's just, you know? And, I guess maybe I'm being too concise here. Maybe I'm gonna go back and forth a lot. Um, but, basically, you know, I felt happy to meet Clarissa. And it can be hard to admit that, but that's the truth. And, from the get go, there were some red flags about, she had some guy friend who happened to be an ex and told me not to worry about him. And then, I don't really remember at this point. I think they got back together, and then January I wrote a letter saying, no, stay with me, blah, blah, blah. And unbeknownst to Clarissa, I was with Katie. And I didn't know why I kept like, I could have just stopped it right there, but I didn't. For some reason, I just wanted to just hold on to Clarissa, despite the red flags, the drama, I guess. And it's, I don't know, but all I can say is that throughout those first few years, like, it was a lot of back and forth between jealousy and me. I guess kind of knowing Clarissa and just accepting her for who she was, knowing her flaws, knowing that there are times where I may not trust her, but I still do. And in the back of my mind of Katie, I knew she was there. I knew she was, and I don't know why I stuck around, but I felt very strongly towards Clarissa for some reason, and it was fucked up, but I would just recycle stuff between them, like share similar love songs, share similar activities I would do for them, like that helicopter over the whatever, over the building I worked at. But in my head, like, just to preface this, I'm not a normal person. I divided myself, I divided my brain into this double identity where I am technically a faithful person to both parties, but in reality I wasn't. And I would feel guilty, of course, about Katie and to Clarissa. Every time I would go to California, I made up some excuse, this and that. And, I really don't blame Clarissa for feeling a certain way towards me through fears of abandonment. And at the same time, she would give me these insecurities and comparisons about her ex, Marcos. Like, I wish my last name were Agundez. That's such a beautiful name. She would say stuff like that, as if I couldn't put the puzzle pieces together and just, you know, just not put things together in my head. And that was just bad news for everyone. And every time I would leave Clarissa, I would selfishly come back, I admit. And I would say things like, "You're the one I want. I want to be with you." And it hurts to admit, but I really meant those things. And, at times I felt like Clarissa was being so cruel and mean, being very, like, playing with jealousy, playing with this and that. And then there came a point where, in around April, around Brandon's boot camp graduation, she told me, "I'll have a new job," and I made a new friend, this guy. Obviously, I'm naturally a very jealous person, but I figured, you know what? I fucking love this girl, and okay, alright, I'll deal with that. And mind you, like, I, at this whole time, like, believe it or not, I would do a lot to just maintain these lies and to, I know it sounds fucked up, but like, I would go above and beyond to keep Clarissa happy for some reason. And I would just push Katie to the side. I don't know why, because she never did anything wrong. I never felt like she was shady or was hiding something. I always trusted her, no matter what. And, from my own point of view, I learned that not through Clarissa, but I put two and two together that she was cheating on me. Like the night when I called her right before Brand's graduation, she was telling me, "Oh, I met this guy friend and we're gonna hang out. We sound like we're gonna be very good friends." And this big part of me was just like, "John, come on." But I wanted to give her benefit of the doubt because I felt like I wanted to be a person to just let her live and fly, you know? And then, hold on. I don't even know what this is. Searching. I want maybe an oxy. But, hold on. Shit. I trusted her. And I still don't know the full story and whatnot, Katie, Clarissa told me this girl, Christina, was being so annoying that she couldn't trust Clarissa being around that Sam. And then Clarissa told me, "You know what? I'm gonna she's being so annoying. I'm just gonna steal her boyfriend, you know. And Katie told me recently that the same thing. She said, "Oh, I this girl was being so annoying, so I slept with her boyfriend," which, you know, Clarissa didn't tell me. Um, and I admit I wasn't doing any better. I was look, going out with my girlfriend, Katie, you know, being sexual romantic with her and whatnot. I get that. But in my head, I just split it where it just blew up in my face where I didn't know who I was and who I love and what I was doing with my life. Um, and just never set right with me, you know, because I guess Clarissa, she would say, "Oh no, John, stay with me. I'll talk to who else am I gonna talk to about my time with him?" Uh, you know, you, Clarissa, you always put me in a box, and this conversation isn't the first, the second, or third time, but you put me in a box, and I felt like no matter what I did, I was just this boring, predictable, hardworking Capricorn. And you meet this guy who makes all these dumb jokes, who's a Gemini, and he speeds like anyone else does on the fucking road. And he made you sneak out of your bedroom one day when you told me you're sleeping. I could never replace. I could do that. You never. It felt like you never thought I was capable of having that with you. Like, oh, John wouldn't do it. That's not him. He's not wild. He's just tame. He's all about work, all about responsibilities. You know? And you're telling me that you're with him because you're punishing yourself. And like 2 days later, after we break up, I remember when you were crying, those tears, those eyes you gave me. It really hurt. But then, like 2 days later, you were in IKEA helping him move furniture to his new house. And it was just a lot for me, you know? Like, and on the one hand, I knew I was being a fucked up person, lying, because you were unknown. To me, that's the thing. Like, I know I'm delusional, but in your head, you didn't know what I was doing, and yet you still chose to act a certain way, and it was just I couldn't handle it because in my brain I just separated things and I thought I was loyal to both you and Katie. You know, whatever, however that sounds like, and fuck, uh, it wasn't fair to you or to me, to anyone, especially to Katie. And just, I felt like shit that entire summer. You know, Katie noticed I was not normal. I was having panic attacks. I was not eating. I felt heartbroken. You know, plain and simple. And despite that you were with him, you and I would still be intimate, I guess. Because I wanted to win you back. And, you know, I begged you to come back, and then you did, and then you lied, and you were still with him, and you were, you know, giving him blowjobs apparently every time. Who knows what else, and that's fine, because, I was with Katie. But really, like, to a normal person in my position, they would have just walked away, dude. But for me, I just take things so personal, and I have just a lot of I had depression and some social anxiety, but that really threw me through the roof where I had to get medicated with antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication just to just to feel normal, to deal with all that. And obviously, you guys, you and Sam broke up in known terms, whatever. But you know, we had a Tumblr account, if you remember, and he told me not to read into one of the things, but I did anyways, because it's our Tumblr account, first of all. And you decided to write all these things about him, like this. You love the way the scent of his vanilla skin, how he makes you feel like alive, and this and that. And I knew that no matter what I could ever do, I couldn't do that. Not because I can't do that, but because you, you had me separated in your own beliefs and borders. And eventually, just, I guess time passed. I never asked about it because I didn't want to know. I was going to go to Ecuador that winter, but I said no because I was scared that you were going to go back to him. And we stayed together, and I'll be honest, I don't remember anything because I was just abusing my medication with alcohol, and I went to a club and I danced with some girl, and we sort of hooked up, like we made out, but we couldn't really have sex because I just wanted to feel something. And and all of this, Katie is just there, unknown. She doesn't know, and that's what I don't get. Why couldn't I just go to Katie? Why did I just cling on to you and just put you on this pedestal? You know, and eventually things came out between the truth about me, what I've done, and I'll admit that I did throw you under the bus because I felt like if I told Katie the truth, it would have been. I just was worried about her health and whatnot. Which, and I know I threatened you, but it was just because I was going crazy. I was disassociating. I was doing all this and that. I couldn't handle it. And I'm sorry I took it out on you, to be honest. It wasn't right. I think I apologized, but it wasn't right. And I just fuck. I just fucking just give me something. I just fuck. It just feeling horrible for everyone. I loved you, but I also loved Katie. And to be honest, I wanted to protect Katie. I didn't know which way to go. To go to you, go to her. But I just knew I needed to be there for Katie. And in the end, I was happy I did. I loved Katie. We had this year of fun, adventure. We remembered why we loved each other, why we fell in love with each other. And then just eventually, like, I remember telling Katie, I think it was like the fall of 2018. I was like, Katie, I need to talk to Clarissa. Just, I feel so bad. I need to talk to her. Just explain that I didn't mean for all this to happen. It was killing me. Killing me. And, it was selfish because I didn't know what you were doing. You know, honestly, my first instinct was that you went back to Marcos, and you know that was true. As I learned to find out, and just eventually, like during following winter and spring, I just couldn't stop thinking about you. I just wanted to go to you. I just wanted to contact you. I just couldn't get you out of my head, but I didn't want you to leave my head. It really, really ate me. And I just felt all this guilt. And that night, those nights, I just kept taking pills and alcohol. And one night, I wasn't planning on it. I just called you. And you picked up. And you were taking care of me. And that meant so much to me. I really, everything, like, from talking to you to meeting to you, it didn't mean a lot. It meant a lot. And, you know, for a moment I was really happy that we reconnected. You know, and then I knew that you were with Marcos, you know, I was with Katie, and we were in that situation. And after we had met, you know, we both felt like we had a great time. And then eventually reality hits where, oh, you know, I have to go to Katie, and you have to be with Marcos. That toxic environment where we just trade off and just uh fuck, is this the right one? Yeah, it is. And let me take one more just in case. And then I don't remember the timeline, but you guys broke up or something. And I was just feeling so anxious. I started watching porn again. Like every morning. Just to just to survive that morning, you know, because mornings are the hardest. And it hurt. It hurt to go back to that. And then I think you guys broke up or something. Because he found out about us and whatnot. And then, I was scared. I was fucking scared because I was with Katie and you didn't have anyone supposedly. And I was scared about that. I was really scared. I wanted to just take a pause, but I, one of my biggest flaws is just not being honest and not telling the truth about how I feel. I just internalize everything. I don't. It wasn't always personally to you, but mostly to you. And you told me that eventually, you had breakup sex with him because whatever. And alright, sure, cool. And around the same time, you were talking about all these dreams and looking up Sam's Instagram, liking a photo of his. You have to change your profile or whatever, and that just put me in a bad spot. And in no way am I justifying my actions, but that's really what led me to sleeping with a prostitute. Because with my other addictions, it was just, they just went hand in hand to cope that way. Not to spite you, it wasn't to get revenge. It was because I just, I wanted to, I just wanted validation from you. I wanted to be with you. And Katie is in all of this, and at the same time, like, Katie was just the ideal fit for everything for me. She never did anything wrong. We had no trust issues, but she didn't know about all these addictions I had. She still thought I was okay. With you, I kind of felt like I could just not tell you the truth, but just at least we shared a secret together about our affair. And it it was fucked up. It was fucked up, all of it. And then down the line, just to make things clear, it's I did so much more than you'd think that I didn't do. The amount of effort to just deal with my anxiety, to make time for you, to do this for you, to ignore Katie, to set her aside and make you my priority. That came with a cost. And I wanted to do it, and in hindsight, it doesn't make sense. For some reason, I I just wanted you to love me more than you did Sam. That was the bottom line. And then, you're still telling me that You still thought about him, you want to check up on him. But I knew already. I knew what that meant. I knew what that meant. I knew that I could never be him. I could never be green eyes, have green eyes, or be tall, be white, have a swimming pool, have a theater room. And then, you know, down in December or November, we were having an argument. I wanted to smoke because I wasn't feeling good. And you were angry at me, and so you put on this music about Sam, I guess. And I could sense it. I felt the anxiety. I could just feel it, just feel it. And I had a panic attack, and you told me that you were sorry and that you admitted what you were doing. And I just had all this stuff just happens like it happened yesterday, you know? I couldn't, I, I could not just contain it. I had a bad self-image about myself. Whenever you tell me I'm beautiful or whatever, I don't fucking believe you. Maybe in some way, but not as much as Sam. And you would always be like, "Oh, don't worry, don't worry." And don't get me wrong, at the same time, I was, still seeing Katie, and my biggest issue was not telling you in advance when Katie is coming. I would always leave it last minute for some reason because I felt like I'm disappointing you. And that's my fault. But that's really like one of the few things that I feel like I really did fuck up. You know? For sure. On top of the guilt of my addictions and just having this secrecy between all this, no one but me knows the whole truth. And with New Year's, you know, I ignored Katie, and I just wanted to be with you. I wanted to say Happy New Year's. And but that didn't happen. You were with Marcos. Later on, I asked you if you regretted it, and you said you did. But then you said you slept with him again the next morning, and he knew that you were talking to me. And I remember that phone call when you reached out to me saying, "John, please don't go." And I was so mad. I just was punching myself, cutting myself. Cause I already felt so ugly. Clarence. And that's just when I couldn't help it. My addiction just kept calling to me. I wanted companionship. I slept with another prostitute. Because I just felt so ugly. I remember just saying, like, I'm done. You wanted me to stay, and your dog died. And then you told me that you came back from the weekend, and I knew exactly what that meant. You were back with Marcos, and that really hurt me. And I'm so sorry about that with your dog. I'm so sorry, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But I still stayed, I think. I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure I stayed. And then COVID happened. And we stopped talking for some reason because you were still with Marcos. And I kept telling you I'm mad at you. And just there we go. Fuck. And then just you know, I was worried about you. And you said you were worried about me. About COVID. You know, we stayed in touch. And you know, just from that point on, it was a lot of back and forth about what you wanted to do. And you know, during that time period of like summer to like winter, I felt really happy between us. You know, despite the on and off a couple of times. But really, in all these things you're telling me about fate and soulmates and our path together, I believed all that. I really did. John Romero believed all that. The guy who would never, ever humor such thing. I believed you. And I felt these connections with you that just fulfilled those words. It was horrible when I would fly to Katie, because I would feel guilty. In my head, at the same time, I'm thinking, well, you know, you're living with Marcos, being happy with him. And I know I kept trying to push you away, and you would come back to me, and I would hold on to you tightly. You know, and then came like to more recently where, you know, you and I, we were, you know, during this spring time and whatever, we were happy. We were happy. We were saying things, and I was meaning them, but being with you. And honestly, my main concern was that Katie, I loved her so much. I didn't see a reason to really break up with her. Maybe at times I would feel really guilty for breaking up with her and being a coward and not being able to deal with the consequences. of it. But at the end of the day, I was happy with her, and I know you wanted me to be with you, and I wanted to be with you too. This whole time is ringing in my head. It's just I never gave you a chance. I never gave us a chance. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I wanted to be better than Sam. I wanted to show you I could be that guy. I can fucking drive 90 miles an hour, whatever bullshit. I could fucking. Problem is, at the same time, where it feels like I didn't give you a chance, you didn't give me a chance. Where I could be just like him. And I guess that's where this whole concept grew, where I just never got over it because I always felt like I could never be him, no matter what. And just near the end, like February, when you were, breaking up with Marcos, I was there for you every moment because I loved you. I wanted you safe. I told you don't go to fucking Colorado with him, but you still went anyways, and just stuff like that made me feel like you really don't care about what I say or consider it. Just brought up all these old red flags. You know, and then eventually I, uh, you know, really I was ready to go to you. I was tiptoeing between you and Katie. But at the end of the day, Clarence, I always told you I never trusted you. I never trusted you for some reason about you and Sam. And it told that's why I went to go see Katie in June or in May. Because deep down, I couldn't trust you, Clarence. I wanted to, all my heart, and I knew that you loved me. But I don't know what love actually means to you. For me, I know you still kept stuff about Sam or even Marcos in your phones deep down. You had memoirs, you had secret Pinterest boards, you had secret playlists that I discovered, and you would just be like, oh, it's just a story. And even Katie, she showed me something recently about this playlist you had about a Valiant or whatever, and you showed me it, and you wanted me to help you find songs about it. And she tells me that it was actually about him, that you still kept thinking about him. And when we stopped talking, like after May for that month, and you met him, and I knew that you had butterflies in your stomach when you saw him. I knew you were happy to see him. I knew you loved me, but deep down you were happy to see him. Everything came rushing back. The way he looks at you, his green eyes, the way he drives. I knew that. But you told me that you did it for us. That you did it for you and I. And I believed you. I told you that. You. Okay. I believe you. I'll believe you again, Clarissa. Like I did 4 years ago. not to worry about it. And the fucked up part about me is that I lied. I didn't tell you that Katie and I were gonna be living together, even though I wanted to. In my head, I justified it in saying like I'm gonna do it because this is this is what I always wanted to do with Katie. You did it with Marcos. I want to do the same thing with Katie. I told you don't wait for me. That if I were to come back, I'd come back with an answer, whether that's a yes or no to you. And I know that sounds so selfish because it is selfish of me. It's very selfish. I regret that. I wish I could have just been more upfront. Clarissa, I. I, I believed you. I chose to believe you again. Even though you didn't deserve to believe me. I wanted to tell you the truth after some time, because you said we would, whether it's 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, 3 years, I wanted to tell you and just give you an answer, whatever the answer may be. And that phone call, when everything came out, when Katie was here, and we were talking, you asked me if I still believed in everything you said. And I said I did. I did. I really did. I believed everything. I believed everything. I told my therapist, I told Katie that I did love you and that I did believe in those things. And that's why Katie left me. That's why Katie left me. Because I did believe you. Just after all of that, it, you know, my addictions and stuff, and had a family intervention and a therapy session, and I'm part of a 12-step program for sex addiction and alcoholism now. I wanted to stay with Katie. I was so close to choosing you on the phone, saying, I want to be with you, not Katie. But deep down, I couldn't trust you. And then, like, however long it took, a couple days, a week, I already knew that you were gonna go back to him. That you would have all these romantic feelings that were always there, just reignited. That you and him are have this special connection. That you and Sam are just meant to be. You guys are Geminis. You guys have pinky promises. He's the wild boy. You're his daddy's girl now again. His kitten. To swallow all of that with everything else, with Katie's suffering and her pain. You always ask me if I'm settling with Katie. And maybe at times I considered it. But in the end, Katie never let me doubt her love for me. She never did, and her and I were happy. Happy. And I'm the one that chose to ignore her. I'm the one that chose to invest all my time with you. Like, you think that me just coming home and talking to you was all I was doing? No, I was dealing with all these lies, leaving work early, talking to you during my lunch breaks, playing games with you all day, staying up till like 3 a.m. with you. I was doing everything I humanly possibly could while feeling like I'm ready to kill myself at any moment. You know, and at the end, you go back to this guy, and it turns out that you always had these feelings. I don't know, this is my point of view. You had these feelings, you lied to me, you downplayed them. You and I have the same flaws. We both downplayed feelings for the persons we had. I downplayed my feelings for you to Katie. You downplayed feelings for Sam to me. I admit, it fucking kills me. It does, dude. Like, it fucking does, dude. I can't explain it because fucking shit. They're all empty. I don't want fucking oxy, dude. I want one of these, dude. To see he'll just snap like that, Clarissa. I don't care if you moved on. I wanted you to move on, but it's the fact that you had these feelings already and you lied to me about not having those feelings, and that's how you moved on. That's what bothers me. It's not that you moved on so quickly, it's the fact that you already harbored these feelings, and the moment it happened, it came just like that. Everything you and I had just disappeared like that. Just like that? Really? You still love Marcos, and he did a lot worse than I did. You know, in my opinion, I wasn't lying to you when I believed your stuff. I thought we were twin flames. I thought we were close to all this stuff. You had me believe all these things. I thought I made the wrong choice of Katie. I believed all of that. And at the end of the day, I don't wish harm on you, Clarissa. I just wish that you could at least, to yourself, just show 1 ounce of guilt to what you've done. Not to me, but to Katie. Trying to be her friend, messaging her family saying I'm a dangerous person. What the fuck was that about, dude? What the fuck was that about? That was not your business. Clarissa, right now you're just... I can only assume, I don't know, I don't stalk you. I can just assume that you're just prancing around, living a Gemini and Gemini life with your other guy now, being happy, putting yourself in this new spiritual romance, just like you and I had, except it's him now. Or maybe it was always him and I was just a filler. I don't know what I'm talking about right now, to be honest. Uh, I don't know what time it is, but Clarissa, just I don't want you to go through pain and suffering. I just want you to fucking admit that you were wrong about things, that you shouldn't have done certain things, and that really, if you want to move on and be with Sam, go ahead and do that and be happy. You go and do that, Clarissa. It's just, you're just a fucking liar, I think. Just like I am. And that's what I think about you and I, that you and I, we share the same thorns. We share the same flaws. We're willing to lie, omit truth. Maybe we're both love addicts. I don't know. But really, Clarissa, if you were to talk to me now, I don't know what I would say. But right now, Clarissa, despite the pain and suffering Katie has gone through, she's there for me. As a person, as a friend, she gives me all this ammunition to just keep going and not wanting to fucking kill myself every day. Every fucking day. Every fucking day, Clarissa. If you never wanted to really confront that stuff with me. And I know I was closed off because I felt guilty about. I never wanted you to feel guilty about Sam. But really, in the end, Clarissa, you gotta admit, you were fucked up. And I was fucked up. And it was just a bad mix, and we felt all these amazing feelings. Whether they were ephemeral or not. And to you, if you think that I'm a dangerous person, I'm a dangerous person to you and I manipulated you. In some cases, I did. Like, not telling you that Katie was moving here. And that's about it. I wasn't telling you things to make you believe me. I wasn't. I wasn't. I was genuine. And that's why Katie left me. That's why Katie left me. And now, I don't know what I have. I just have my meetings, abstaining from alcohol. I'm blabbering at this point, but really, dude, you have it wrong. I really do think you have some of it wrong. I know I've done a lot of fucked up stuff, Clarissa, but really, I tried stopping the cycle between you and I with the back and forth. I really did. And I owe you an apology about not being honest with my addictions and how they spiraled out of control. You know, because I've been like this since I was like 5, 6 years old. There's many things you don't know about things I've done as a child. to make me really succumb to all these extreme self inflicted consequences. And it's not your fault. If I were a normal person, I would have walked away a long time ago, Clarissa, but really, I loved you and I believed you. But now, I don't think I do anymore, Clarissa, because the moment it all blew up in your face now, this time, now you're throwing me under the bus. Now you're telling me I'm the dangerous person. Really, Clarissa, I think you and I are mirrors in that regard. I'm not sure if you are just prancing around in life all happily. Just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm not gonna remember this tomorrow. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But, Katie, I love you. I know I don't deserve you. And that's why you left me. And all I can say is try my best. I know right now I relapsed. I relapsed. Fucking relapsed. But really, please believe me. You're wrong, Clarissa. I believed you. I believed you. Everything you said, I believed you. And now that I'm hearing that I never did, that's totally false. But right now it doesn't matter anyways, right? You have your own boy with your own spiritual path. He's your new twin flame. He's your mirror. He's your whatever. He's your new daddy. He's your new whatever the fuck it is. And that's okay. Because you know what? You're lying to me. We were both lying to each other. And I hope you find happiness. I do. I do. And I hope that. I just hope something. I don't know. Can't think. I, uh. I feel. I feel sorry to Katie, to myself, to my family, and to you a bit. I lied. Everything else was true except my addictions. That's what you didn't know about, that you deserve to know. And, I'm not gonna remember this, but this didn't come out as eloquently as I thought it'd be, but c'est la vie, so I know I'm missing a lot of points. I know I'm a fucked up person, but really, I'm done. The time is ticking. Again. could have been, but I guess not anymore. And that's okay. It'll be alright. Promise.